Hello lovelies, welcome or welcome back. Today let's set up my weekly planner for May 2025. And before we dive in, let's take a quick look at how things have been looking in my planner so far this year. If you're new here, I use two journals daily in 2025. One is my bullet journal, the bigger one you see in the back, and the other is this weekly planner. My bullet journal is mainly for habit tracking and daily reflections, while my weekly planner is for scheduling tasks and appointments. And every month, I like to match the themes across both journals. For example, here's my April weekly planner. It's not fully completed yet at the time this video was filmed. And here's my April bullet journal. So it's a green and yellowish spring theme. And while using it last week, I realized the last couple of days in April were included in the May layout in this planner. But since my bullet journal is fully customized, I did the opposite and included the first couple of days of May in the April layout. I honestly didn't notice this until yesterday. So I was in desperate need of a new weekly setup. So let's do that now. And here's a quick flip through of my bullet journal for May so we can get an idea of the colors and patterns we might use. This is my typical layout for the weekly planner. On the top right, where you see lots of color blocks, that's my mini time block where I track how I spend my time each day. I've been using this layout for over half a year, I think, and I designed it because I wanted to track my time better and become more aware of where I was wasting time. I started really simple with one block representing 1 hour to avoid making it too complicated and overwhelming. So if you're interested in more details on how I use my weekly planner, I have a separate video all about that. I'll pop up the link here. And now that I've been using this system for a while, I feel I'm ready to track my time in more details. So I've decided to expand the time blocks using 2 blocks per hour, which I'll show you very soon when we set up the weekly pages. So let's start with the monthly calendar. The planner I'm using is the Paper Ideas Weeks. This is the 2025 dated version with a linen cover, and I added a PVC cover to protect it, and I also decorated on the cover. And if later on I don't like it, I can always change it easily. This planner also have undated version now, so you can start anytime during the year. I'll put the link in the description box below. This planner has a monthly calendar followed by the weekly pages. I'm not really a big monthly calendar person, especially with a dated planner. I just put my to-dos or schedules directly onto the weekly page. Last year, I used a monthly page for content planning, but I've moved that somewhere else. And since the beginning of the year, I've been using this page for food and coffee tracking. I assign each day 3 colors, one for lunch, one for dinner, and one for snacks. I usually have 2 meals a day as part of my fasting, but if I'm extra hungry in the morning, I'll shift my lunch earlier. I'm also thinking about using this page to track my reading progress, but then I'll have to find another place for my food tracking, so I haven't decided yet. So if you use a monthly calendar or the monthly log in your bullet journal regularly, please pop a comment. I need some inspiration. And for the colors, I'm sticking to the same pastel tones as my bullet journal. I'll frame the edges of the page, add some wavy lines, and sprinkle a few blue balls here and there. At the bottom, I total up all the numbers I tracked and turn that into a small bar chart so I can easily compare how I did each day. With the monthly page all set, let's move on to the weekly pages. I want to carry over the diamond shapes from my bullet journal, so I draw them along one side of the left page and frame them with the same wavy lines. Normally, I divide the left page into 2 sections, a larger one for important tasks and a smaller one for chores and life admins. So the diamonds here would be for the chores and life admins, and if there's nothing scheduled for that day, I might doodle flowers like I did on my bullet journal cover. We'll see how it goes. I I color in all the edges because I just love seeing a fully filled page. I'm sure some of you are the same. Empty spaces in a journal can feel so unfinished sometimes, right? The markers I'm using are the Artix acrylic markers, which I also use for my March theme. They are from the same set, but while March was bright and vibrant, May is much more soft and pastel. So it's got such a great color range to work with, and the pens are just so juicy and smooth. On the right side of the planner is a blank grid page, which I can customize however I want. So I'll put my time blocks to the left, and because space is limited, I'll keep the sleeping time the same size as before, so the page still fits 24 hours. Now that I'm using the full length of the page for the 24-hour time block, I'll put all the tasks, chores, and other sections over to the right. They'll be a bit smaller than before, but honestly, I wasn't fully using a bigger space anyway, so it's totally fine. This gel pen I'm using is from the Zebra Sarasa vintage set. It's a grey shade instead of black. Not sure if you can see it. And I think it pairs beautifully with the pastel colors. For the titles, I go over them a couple times to make them nice and bold. And next, I have a small habit tracker. These are more like little reminders for me, things like unplugging my laptop, I heard that's better for the battery, or doing a few hip stretches because I had a minor injury which unfortunately is still not recovered. My main habit trackers for bigger things like reading or skincare are all in my bullet journal, and right after this is my productivity routine. And again, since the space is limited, I rate my days from 4 to 10. Hopefully I won't have any days falling below a 4. And finally, there's the color code I use for my 5 time categories: work, life, like chores, family time or hanging out with friends, self-improvement, screen time, and then sleep. It's a really simple system, and I think it's really easy to follow. I also use a dot marker to mark out the bullets for my to-dos. The dot tape really makes things easier, and this one I'm using is from Ohuhu. Oh, and almost forgot, I have a list for my book, music, and movie of the week. I have to add the little symbols here, and with that, this week is all set up. And while I'm here, I might as well fill in some of today's time blocks. I woke up at 8:30, scrolled on my phone a bit, then got up and made coffee. That's life admin time marked in green. Then I worked until 1 p.m, had lunch, green again, and now I'm back to working/filming. So you can see I really was in need of a new layout. Next, we'll set up the following week. I wish I could show you more of how I actually use the planner. I usually make setup videos and then a short follow-up showing the finished pages. Would you be interested in seeing the process as well? Let me know in the comments. I think it would be fun to show that, but since this is a planner, not a diary, I use it as I go rather than filling it in all at once at the end of the week or at the end of the day. That makes it tricky to film small clips throughout the day, and the lighting, the environment wouldn't be consistent anyway. So I'll probably need to come up with a more creative way to do that. Anyway, I try to keep every page a little different, just like in my bullet journal, to keep things fun and make it easier to stay consistent. By the way, as I'm drawing around the edges, I put a separate page underneath, not because the ink bleeds through, but just to keep the color from reaching the edges of the next page. You probably noticed when I flipped over earlier how clean the backs of the pages are. The paper in this weekly planner is 100 GSM, and it holds these acrylic markers beautifully, so I don't have to worry at all. This time I added a few doodles inside the diamonds and in the bottom right corner where the week is marked out in the monthly view. I don't really use that little section, so I just covered it up and added some flowers as well. For the next 3 weeks, I transitioned into a skinnier diamond shape, so they work more as dividers rather than blocks to be filled with contents. Let's see how they turned out. Alright, now my May 2025 weekly planner is all set up. Let's do a quick flip through. I really love this soft pastel theme and I hope you enjoyed watching this video as well. If you have any questions or ideas, pop them in the comments. Thanks again and bye for now.